The Whale isn't just a movie about a man trapped in his apartment. It's about a man trapped in his past, his regrets, and his own body. What makes this film so devastating isn't just the story, but the way it's told. Through a masterclass of character development and emotional tension, The Whale pulls us into Charlie's world so deeply that by the end we feel like we've lived in that apartment with him.
People are amazing.
What the f did you do?
Hey, I'm Lauren, your insider to filmmaking techniques. Fair warning, major spoilers ahead, including the ending, so if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend that you do. The film takes place almost entirely in one room, the meager living room of Charlie's motel-sized home. The filmmakers did a great job blocking the limited space they had by placing Charlie right in the center of the room on his couch, so the camera could literally orbit around his giant body. And every time they filmed these orbital shots, it was to show the supporting characters who surrounded Charlie throughout the entire story. They say you are who you surround yourself with, and that is especially true in film. These supporting characters added depth and context to Charlie's character.
Are you choking? Oh, God.
Brendan Fraser won the Oscar for his performance of this film in 2023, and he thoroughly deserved it. At no point was I thinking, this is Brendan Fraser acting. No, he was Charlie. But it was also the strong supporting cast that helped make his character so real in the first place.
Mom, don't freak out. Shut up. You again? Charlie? Charlie.
Each of them isn't just a supporting character. They're a reflection of Charlie himself. So developing them also develops him. There are so many bad movies out there. We all know that. Sometimes we even watch them just because they're so bad. And I bet you that most of them have weak, one-sided supporting characters that no one really cares about. In contrast, director Darren Aronofsky masterfully shows us how to successfully develop a supporting cast. And one of the many ways is to give each of these supporting characters an arc of their own. A moment, maybe even away from the main character. Let me show you an example. Meet Liz, Charlie's best and probably only real friend, who also happens to be a nurse and a fantastic caretaker for him. She and Charlie have this warm, sweet, caring attachment for each other, and it's a really strong emotional pull that's a huge part of who Charlie is. But there's also an underlying tension between Liz and Charlie that goes unexplained at first.
What the f is he doing here?
That is until she decides to confront Thomas, a member of a religious cult.
He's just helping me with something. Take it easy, Liz.
Okay, well, you can go now.
Liz.
Go home!
Sorry.
Actually, stay. We'll have a little chat.
And when she takes him outside for a private talk, it ends up being her that releases that tension. They start the scene with her not even facing him, because they want it to feel a little bit awkward and non-confrontational, so they can build it up later.
Where are you from?
What?
Okay, listen. I know this is fun for you. You get to travel around, act superior than everyone else, and eventually you go home, get some boring job, have too many kids. It's God's plan. But there are other types of people. People like Charlie, for whom this amazing plan doesn't fit.
And I know she's talking about Charlie there, but she's really talking about herself. She and Charlie are one and the same.
So just stay away from him. He doesn't need this right now.
I disagree.
Excuse me?
Sorry, he's dying. He's refusing to go to the hospital. What he needs is spiritual guidance.
And you're gonna give him that?
No, God will.
Look at that smirk. He's goading her. It's the perfect time for her emotions to start bubbling up. And right on cue, she moves her chair to face him directly. No one actually does that in real life. If I'm having a heated argument with someone, do I suddenly stand up, take the chair, move it over closer to them, and then sit back down so I can get in their face? No, I'm in my head. I'm deep in the conversation. I'm not moving at all. But in film, and especially in theater, moving furniture around is done all the time as a blocking trick. It's a way of manufacturing some energy to up the tension.
My big brother did some missionary work for New Life. Went to South America. He loved New Life. But when he came back, he met someone else. Fell in love, started a whole new life, and Dad kicked him out of the church and the family. A couple weeks later, this guy's out jogging on a bike path near the river in Lewiston, sees something washed up on shore, and that was Alan. The love of Charlie's life and my brother.
Oh.
Yeah, oh.
So now we understand the journey she's been through, and by extension, Charlie too. There's a lot of pain there. It's moments like this when characters release raw emotion, when they show their vulnerabilities, that we form an emotional connection to them. Each character in The Whale is deeply flawed, and they do an excellent job in showing those vulnerabilities as they relate to each other.
I gotta go.
Who were you really?
In this film, every time a supporting character reveals their pain, it peels back another layer of Charlie's soul.
I see all my family, my friends. They're all just so happy. I just want to be like that.
Charlie is the protagonist in The Whale. The antagonist in any well-written story represents the demons that the protagonist must overcome. So, who are the antagonists here? First, we meet Thomas, the boy in the religious cult who stole money and deserted his family to go find himself.
When my dad caught me smoking pot, he thought a mission would be a good idea. I mean, the truth is, he's just embarrassed by me and wanted me gone for a while. Anyway, I just left. I couldn't do it anymore.
For those of you who have seen the film, does that sound like anyone familiar to you? Charlie deserted his family to find himself with his new boyfriend, and it's haunted him ever since. So Thomas represents the selfishness and irresponsibility that Charlie has to confront within himself.
Does this mean I'm gonna get fat?
Then we meet his daughter Ellie, who comes off as a jaded, angry, bitter person.
It's overwritten and dumb and repetitive, and even though he thinks his metaphor of I is deep, it's actually just a bunch of bull.
Seem familiar too?
These readings. Write something.
Ellie represents the jaded, bitter side of Charlie for losing a person he loved. He lost his boyfriend. She lost her father. And they both consider themselves outcasts of society because of it. Then we meet his ex-wife, Samantha, the super antagonist.
Shut up!
Overflowing with anger and hatred. And she drowns her feelings with her alcohol addiction. And guess who else has an addiction coping mechanism? Samantha and Charlie both live with a lot of pain, and neither of them deal with it very well. The one real friend Charlie has in the world is Liz, who, like I said before, is caring and nurturing and never gives up on him, just like Charlie never gives up on his daughter.
I'm worried that she's forgotten what an amazing person she is.
Liz is the good angel in Charlie's head, showing he is capable of love, caring, and commitment. And this is the part of him that must win out over the others. So, you can see all the different parts of Charlie's complex personality through his supporting characters. And as all of these characters conflict with each other, so goes the conflicts in Charlie's mind. That's why they're called the supporting cast. Not because they're supporting the story, but because they're supporting the main character's inner conflicts.
I just want him to be saved. That's
You
all.
listen to me. He doesn't need saving. In a few days, he's probably gonna be dead. So what he needs is for you to leave him alone.
Liz,
Now, all of that being said, here's the twist. The movie would have us think that the story is about Charlie, the whale. But in the end, I think it reveals something else entirely. And what I'm about to say is a major spoiler, and also my opinion. So if you disagree or have another idea, please leave a comment. I would love to talk about it. And also, if you enjoy this video, please hit that like button below and make sure you're subscribed to my channel.
think about the truth of your argument. I know this may sound silly, but it's important.
Here's the truth of my argument. The whale is actually about someone else.
I'm sorry for leaving you. I left you behind. You did not deserve that. I don't know how I could have done such a thing. You're so beautiful.
Whenever I see that final scene, I get emotional every time. It's really powerful because it's a huge release of tension that was slowly building up the entire film. But I wonder to myself, What is it really about this scene that affects me the most? It's not about Charlie dying and going to heaven. It was about him chipping away at reaching his daughter and finally connecting with her.
You're amazing.
Stop.
This essay is amazing. This essay is you.
Stop saying that.
If you read it, please.
Fuck you!
Ellie!
Daddy, please.
He did it at the very end. He got through. I think the movie was really about his daughter the whole time, because it was her character arc that evolved until the end, not Charlie's.
This book made me think about my own life. And then it made me feel glad for mine.
The movie was really about his daughter the whole time, and there are clues earlier on that I'll show you. Each parent sees in Ellie what they see in themselves, and Ellie therefore takes on those characteristics. They are mirrors of each other, and since Ellie was mostly raised by her mom, she really only took on her mom's characteristics, which were anger and hatred.
Shut up! Shut up! She's a terror! He's just some worthless 19th century faggot. Leave. King, die already! Enough!
And Ellie knew what was going on. She missed out on her dad's unique qualities, and she resented him for it. And I think one of the key moments that illustrates this is in this one small scene that's easily overlooked.
Charlie, she's evil.
She's not evil. There'll be a grease fire in hell when he starts to burn. She's a strong writer.
That's your response?
This isn't evil.
It was almost comical the way Charlie reacted. At least that's what his ex-wife would have you think. But it actually reveals the way Charlie sees Ellie, what he sees in himself. A kind, brilliant person. And Ellie missed out on that for most of her childhood.
She's a terror. And you think it's my fault.
And it's so raw and real what happened in this film, because I think it happens in the real world every day to children. When parents neglect their children, or abandon them, or abuse them, those children often don't grow up to realize their full potential, and instead pass that trauma along to their own kids. Ellie's dad took all of his attention away from her because he was selfish, and he put his own feelings first.
You taught me something very important. People are assholes. Most people learn that way too late. You taught me that when I was 8.
My argument is, Charlie literally sucks the attention away from Ellie in her own film. The way this film treats Ellie is symbolic of the way Charlie treats her. She's always a secondary character to him.
It's all about you. Even now.
And because of that, the tension between all of these characters build throughout the film until that final moment.
I need to know that I have done one thing right with my life.
It turns out the parents were really just there to support Ellie.
We both played our parts. I raised her, and you're giving her the money. It's the best we could do.
So Charlie was dealing with all of these feelings of pain, anger, selfishness, caring, love, all these feelings all at once. And in the end, he finally chose to give all the love he had to his daughter. That was his way out, and that's the message of the film. The real tragedy of The Whale isn't Charlie's death. It's that Ellie spent most of her life believing she was unloved. But in his final moments, Charlie gives Ellie the one thing she so desperately needs. And that's what makes this story so powerful. Because in the end, it wasn't about saving Charlie. It was about saving Ellie. Thanks for watching.